Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to talk about opinion polls again today. It's been made a huge issue by the media. They love to talk about polls, and then they keep taking them, and then they keep citing them, and then it's all about the polls. Back last year, every week, all they wanted to talk about was how the polls showed that Hillary Clinton was going to win and destroy Donald Trump. I remember at one point they actually said that Donald Trump was so far behind that Hillary Clinton wouldn't even have to campaign. Let's talk about the polls in Ohio, one of the states where obviously they believed that Hillary Clinton was going to come out on top. You can see here that on Monday, November 7th, the day before the election, Clinton was on top in all but two polls, one of which was the LA Times, the other one was IBD. And here was the Ohio opinion polling. The RCP average had it at, RCP is Real Clear Politics. They're a fairly good website. They have a good variety. All they do is they aggregate different news reports from all over the place. I suggest them. They have their own opinion people, but they have people from all over the place. Anyway, so their average poll had Trump ahead by 3.5 points in Ohio, okay? Which is that's actually a decent prediction, if not for the fact that in reality, Hillary Clinton and the final margin between Clinton and Trump was 8.1 points. So they had a massive disparity. That's 4.6 points. Okay, now the other thing that I'd like to remind you is that in less than 20 minutes ago, the Cleveland Cavaliers destroyed the Boston Celtics in Game 1 of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals, which everybody in this state and city, they're taking to be like the most important thing going on right now. Let's maybe take a small segue from that. One of the top backers of Hillary Clinton in Ohio was LeBron James. And think about it this way, even with the most popular athlete in the modern history of this state, Ohio, openly calling for Hillary Clinton's victory and even writing an op-ed in newspapers for it, even with that, she still was destroyed in Ohio by Donald Trump. And that's what I think of opinion polling. I think it's a bunch of bullshit, unless you can really go out there and have a sense of who is going to vote and what they're going to do. There's certain people I know that I've seen that they've been able to get a lot of good predictions out of it. Nate Silver is not one of them. His whole thing is a bunch of algorithmic bullshit. Dick Morris used to have a fairly good system. I'm not sure if he still does. Probably is not as involved in actual political polling and consulting as he used to be. So let's talk about a poll from recently. It says, actually, just yesterday, it says May 16th, 2017, Democratic Party image dips. The GOP ratings are stable. And it says Americans who rate U.S. political parties favorably, Republican Party at 39%, Democratic Party at 40%. It says the Democratic Party's favorability ratings have dipped by 5% since November, while the GOP has remained the same. Okay, now, I'm not saying that in order to defend the Republican Party. If your favorability is at 39%, then it's a sign that you're just a bunch of losing jackasses. You don't know how to... nobody voted in November in order to help the Republican Party get more power. They've shown what they can do with that power, and it's basically a whole lot of nothing. I think they prefer Donald Trump to the Republican Party. A lot of people, let me tell you, in 2020, if Donald Trump were to run against a Republican and a Democrat, I think that in the end he would probably beat both of them. They're such dysfunctional idiots right now in both parties that I believe if he were to run as an independent, he would probably win just as much as he did this year. Now, if he were to run as a Republican with no opposition, it's a good question how much better he would do, if he would do better. I think in some ways that the Republican Party actually holds him back. He might even have been more popular if he would have run as an independent. So, you know, let me show another funny detail here. It says the favorability ratings of the Democratic Party by political party. So it says in November 2016, 83% of Democrats had a favorable image of their own party, while 37% of independents and 14% of Republicans thought so. In this month, it actually dipped to 77% Democrats and 34% of independents. And watch this, 15% of Republicans had a favorable view of the Democrats. The only segment of society where favorability has gone up for that party has been among their enemies, the Republicans. And I think those are mostly the ones that are the neocons, the ones that they didn't care about the difference between the two parties. They're the ones that are basically merging together the globalist nonsense that both parties share, and they're the ones that are supporting the Democrats, or at least showing a higher favorability. And who are the ones who are dumping the Democratic Party? I believe those are, first of all, centrists, let's say centrists or moderates that are tired of the party's crazy identity politics fueled nonsense. And on the other side of the coin, a lot of progressives that have had enough of being ignored, and they're just saying, you know, screw this. This is a bunch of nonsense. This party doesn't represent us. They don't listen to our voice. They don't give us a seat at the table. They don't even represent our policies to the public. They openly espouse policies of the party that is our enemy, the Republicans. And progressives have been saying that. I've seen Jimmy Dore say it a lot, and I know I give Jimmy shit, which he deserves, but he's probably one of the more honest people when it comes to that. He says, you know, this party is fake. They don't do anything that really distinguishes them from Republicans. They're like Republicans light, and we're going to reject them. Which, you know, to me, I don't really see that from my perspective. But from his perspective, as somebody who believes in universal health care and education and union card check and all of that communist bullshit, yeah, I think that he does have a point. And plenty of progressives also think so. So anyway, that's it. There's a short video. Opinion polling is bullshit, okay? I've said before, when people actually go to the polls, the real polls, the election polls, the ballot, and they decide on an issue, Democrats often could care less, okay? All the gay marriage amendments, apart from, I think, one in Minnesota, all passed by massive majorities. It wasn't even close. Did the Democrats accept it? No, they sued in court. This is Ramon bold like a leopard. And remember, if people are like using opinion polls to try to determine policy, tell them the polls are fucking wrong all the time. They don't even know what the hell they're talking about often. And even if they do, you should pay attention to what you're doing wrong, not just what other people are. Have a great night, and we'll probably see you tomorrow.